多了啊。Hello, this is Tianyuan for CGTN. You're watching us live at one of the Wuhan's hospitals. This is the Hankou Hospital, and actually you can see there were four, well, actually more than four, six ambulances at the front door at the entrance of the building, and these cars are going to pick up patients with symptoms of the coronavirus, and they are going to be received at a newly built prehab hospital called the Huoshenshan Hospital. And the hospital, it's been built in under 8 days. It's almost a construction miracle. Chinese netizens, actually 60 million of them watched the building of the hospital, and actually we're still waiting for patients to get on board. So as you can see, medical personnel are wearing protective suits, and we're not sure if these people you are seeing are patients. Maybe they are the relatives of the patients as well. So as you can see, they are carrying their stuff, daily necessities, in yellow plastic bags. For your information, the coronavirus is highly contagious, so we have to stand in distance to do this live coverage. Medical personnel are talking to the relatives of the patients. A lot of daily necessities, as you can see, there are instant noodles and toilet paper, everything they need. So the newly built prefab hospital will probably receive about 1,000 more patients there. So, and another building, the Huoshenshan Hospital, similar to the Huoshenshan Hospital, is expected to go into operation very soon. But still, Wuhan, and every day there are a lot of patients to be received and to be treated. So these two hospitals, they're helpful, but there's much to be done in the future. And also you can see there are also media from Central Television and even from the military. So it's our duty as reporters, as media, to bring you the truth and bring you details, information. Oh, the man is coughing, and so we might have to step up a little bit. Still trying to pick up their stuff and daily necessities. Doctor is still waiting for the patients. I think he's calling them, like, why aren't you here? It's quite urgent because everything has to be on time, and there's much to be done. And doctors are one of the most honorable occupations in this world, and they risk their lives, their own lives, to treat the patients in Wuhan, which is the epicenter of the coronavirus. And many of them told me they were working overtime, like extra shifts, to treat patients. You know, this is the still the Chinese New Year time of family reunion, but they gave up their own time, their family reunion time with friends, relatives, to treat patients. So on Saturday, I believe, People's Liberation Army has dispatched 1,400 military medical personnel to Wuhan to receive and treat patients. So these medical personnel, we will see them in the Huoshenshan Hospital. So this hospital is one of the major clinics for fever treatment and one of the major hospitals in Wuhan. A lot of hospitals that I know are under stress, short supplies, in dire need for more medical supplies. All right, we see another man walking toward the doctor. We're still waiting for patients to come. You can see everyone's wearing masks. Not only in the hospital, but also on the streets of Wuhan. People are quite cautious about this pneumonia outbreak. But they're still quite optimistic. Some of them told me they hope everything can be fine after all this ends. The patients are carrying their CT scans of their lungs and their diagnosis with them to the new hospital. And the doctors say the relatives, please stay out of the ambulance and let the patients go into the ambulance instead. All right, one more to go. As you can see, media personnel are also in protective suits. And as you can see, there are some military personnel. Actually, the Huoshenshan Hospital, the People's Liberation Army, the PLA, has taken over the hospital. And the 1,400 medical personnel I mentioned will receive in patients. Actually, it started on Monday. And many of those medical personnel, health experts, had faults in the war against the SARS virus in 2003. So they're veterans. And many of them have treated patients in West Africa dealing with Ebola and some other epidemics. So they're quite experienced. Still waiting. All right. I think another one has boarded one of the ambulances. It might take a while, so please stay with us. You're watching CGTN. For those of you who just joined us, we are at the Hankou Hospital, one of the major hospitals in Wuhan. And the team of ambulances are bound to Huoshenshan Hospital, a newly built makeshift hospital for patients infected with the coronavirus. And these ambulances came from Wuhan's emergency center. This morning we were there, and we tried to get inside the ambulance, but the doctors told me it was too dangerous. So please stay out of the cross-infection. So we're doing our job to avoid unnecessary contact. You can see medical personnel are in full gear, wearing protective suits, masks, and goggles. And we are asked to do the same thing. But as you can see, our equipment is like less professional, so we have to stay in distance from the ambulances. I think they're ready to go. I think they're waiting for one more patient. So I think the doctors are rushing these patients to get on board, and this man seems weakened by the virus. So there are symptoms including fever, fatigue, and even shock and serious conditions. So this man, I believe he's experiencing some painful experience right now. You can see from his eyes, so worried. We pray for the patients and hope they can get better soon. So this is a major epidemic that China has never faced, maybe in 18 years. Last time we had this major epidemic was in 2003 during the SARS virus outbreak. And I think we are going to follow these ambulances. They're about to leave very soon, so let's get on board our car, right? All right, we're still waiting. It's a little bit hard to breathe in the mask, but we get used to it. If there's anything you want to know, you could leave a message. It's a bit difficult for me to check my phone, so I think my director will tell me anything. If you're interested, I can try to answer it for you. Actually, we have to put our phones inside our protective suit, and it's a bit difficult to reach for it. So if you have any questions, please let me know. My director will tell me, and Still waiting for the patients. Alright, I think some of the patients are in quite serious conditions. As you can see, the man who can't walk on himself. So, and some of them might have minor conditions, or maybe similar conditions or symptoms like what the coronavirus can do. But we're not sure, as so far we can only observe from the distance. So this is not the first batch of the patients being transferred to the Huoshenshan Hospital. Last night my colleague Tom Bo actually covered the story, and he was inside the ambulance. Brave man, risking his own life. So as a reporter, as a journalist, we are fighting the same war with doctors, medical personnel, and military. We're together, we're stick together, united we stand. This is something it's unprecedented, something we have never faced in history. So only if we stick together, we can pull this through. And some of the residents I talked to in local neighborhoods in Wuhan, they tell me they believe in the government, although it's a really serious situation. As you can see, the ambulance is on the move, and doctors are trying to help the patients to get in the car. Alright, I think we're finally moving toward our destination, the Huoshenshan Hospital. So about 6 ambulances. Actually, that's only a part of the ambulance team. This morning, they split in the city and carry patients from major hospitals to the Huoshenshan Hospital. I don't know if you have watched the live stream feed of the building of the prefab hospital. It's quite amazing. You see, construction workers have worked overtime to build a hospital, a makeshift hospital from scratch, from nothing. There was a barren land, and there you go. 9 days later, the hospital that can receive 1,000 patients. An emergency center, the ambulances are moving in, are transferring patients into the hospital gradually. Last night was the first batch, and this morning, I believe, the second. You know, we tried getting inside the ambulance this morning, but the medical personnel told us it might be too dangerous for you guys because your protective suit is not good enough. So we don't want to cause too much trouble for the doctor, because they're already working really hard to save everyone they can. Even that means risking their own lives. As you can see, the street is pretty empty right now because the citizens are encouraged to stay indoors to avoid unnecessary contact. Scientists have confirmed that the coronavirus can be transmitted between people to people through droplets like sneezing or even the handshake and feces. So health experts advise us to wash our hands constantly when you have time and wear a mask in public. But these are all ways to curb the outbreak, to help as each individual we can do to cooperate, to cut down cross-infection. It's a green light. I just want to tell you, maybe we have to go through some red lights as well to follow the ambulance. So that's going to be a lot of tickets for my driver, but we can manage this later. Nothing's more important than following the story for you guys. So stay with us. As you can see, we still have other cars on the street, but public transport has been shut down due to the outbreak. Let's roll down the window, take a look. We've been following the stories for days and weeks. The first squad we sent here was even before the Chinese New Year, when the outbreak wasn't that serious as it is today. My colleagues sacrificed their family reunion time to do their job. So we're bringing you the latest, everything that's happening in the city, the truth, the story. Alright, let's take a look of the ambulances. As you can see, the driver is even wearing full gear, protective suits, protective shield. Oh, they even rolled down half of the window to keep air circulating, which is a good way to keep air fresh. Earlier, someone asked me if this virus is airborne, and I told him I'm not sure because I'm not a respiratory disease expert. But one thing I'm sure, this coronavirus can be transmitted between people to people. Alright, if you have any questions, you can leave a message and my director will tell me, because right now I can't check my phone. Alright, we're going through a tunnel. Alright, we're going through a tunnel right now. Don't know if you guys are still watching our show. So about the death toll and all these other figures, you can actually check it from the official websites of the National Health Commission. They release their data every day and to keep everything transparent and open. And so far, experts say so far there isn't any vaccine that has been developed to target the virus, but we're still working on it, but it takes time. And global scientists are actually working together to fight this coronavirus. So we are going to a newly built hospital, makeshift hospital called the Huoshenshan Hospital. Another hospital which is similar to this one, called Huoshenshan, is about to go into operation very soon. And for those of you who have just joined us, we are following the ambulance team from one of the local hospitals called Huoshenshan Hospital. They're transferring patients with infections or similar conditions of the coronavirus. So far, I don't have the detailed number of how many people will be there, but we will find out once we arrive in Huoshenshan Hospital. So we're following just one team. The emergency center dispatched many vans, ambulances to carry the patients. For your information, the Huoshenshan Hospital is capable of receiving 1,000 beds, so that's 1,000 patients. But the number is still need to keep up with the number of increased patients every day. So it might be a little difficult for Huoshenshan to receive all the patients, but doctors are doing their best. So the People's Liberation Army has taken the Huoshenshan Hospital on Saturday, and all the medical personnel there are mostly from the military. So if you see so many soldiers or military personnel in an area, don't panic. They're doctors. Don't worry. Don't believe in the rumors they have online. You know, it costs very little to start a rumor nowadays, and it's our job to stop these rumors from spreading. Well, it might be a little difficult for us to keep track of the ambulances since the road is half blocked. We must drive safe. Thank you for asking, because it's a bit difficult to breathe in and breathe out in the mask. It's pretty tight, and the weather is pretty foggy. Yesterday we were on a highway, and we had to drive really slow because the fog. So you have to wear a mask in public. That's for your own safety and for the good of other people. But actually there's a dire need for medical supplies in the city, especially for medical personnel and hospitals. I received calls and messages asking for attention, for more help. and they've been receiving donations and supplies from both the country and some charity groups. But some of them, their standards are good enough for our regular citizens or daily use, but in hospitals the standards are quite high. So if you want to donate, make sure you check their standards on their website or their social media account. So the stuff you send to the city can be useful, not stuck in the room. It's probably going to take a while for us to arrive in the Huoshenshan Hospital, but let me ask my driver first. 明哥，咱们大概还有多久去？So my driver says it's about a 20-minute drive from here to the hospital. Or a number of people, the patients, the hospital is going to receive. So far we are not sure, but we will find out later at the hospital. And the hospital is expected to receive more patients gradually, not all at once, but gradually. So we will keep track of it and bring you the latest. Traffic police are still on duty. So there are a lot of people who are still working to keep this city functional. Medical workers, police, even delivery guys. It's a bit hot in the protective suit, but it's necessary. Also, yesterday I visited a local factory that produces protective suits and masks. They say they've been working extra hours, extra time to boost production to ease the situation of medical supply shortage. So far the factory says it can produce 12,000 protective suits every day, but still it falls short of the speed. And 200,000 masks. Thank you guys for watching our show. Yes, we will stay safe, but we must go close enough to bring you the story, the truth. That's our job. So don't thank us. It's our duty. So a lot of my colleagues came here during the Spring Festival, gave up their time with their family. So I think I should do the same. It's my duty. I mean, as a reporter, I have to stick with my comrades. And stick with the people of Wuhan. We are together. We're fighting this together. So, actually, not only us, but also the people of whole nation are with Wuhan. donations from across the country have poured into the city, and also you can see a lot of netizens. They're showing their support for Wuhan. It's a long journey. Stay with us if you're still watching. If you just join us, we are following an ambulance fleet, actually, heading towards a newly built prefab hospital called Huoshenshan. Oh, by the way, you can also check the replay of our like time-lapse video of the building of the hospital. It's pretty amazing. Yes, I think the patient, I think one patient in one in one ambulance. That's it. But unfortunately, we don't have our access into the ambulance, so I can't tell you. Not necessarily all the patients are in like critical condition. I see patients who can still walk and who can still talk to the doctors on their own, and there are patients with minor issues, minor symptoms as well. But as you can tell, the city is in dire need for medical supplies and even medical personnel. So the government is trying to do everything it can to help. So far, we're only following this, the 6 ambulances ahead of us, but we will find out later. This morning I saw the Wuhan Emergency Center. There are at least a dozen ambulances there, but we didn't have time to check before they depart. Sorry guys, but please stay with us to find out more about this. Well, as you can see, the city street is pretty empty, and residents are encouraged to stay indoors because right now the city is still under a temporary travel restriction. So it's a lockdown. People cannot leave the city, but it's actually a measure to curb the outbreak. They can still move within the city though. Just another day I was visiting a local supermarket. I see people there buying food, their daily necessities. Because of the lockdown, vegetables, fresh vegetables and eggs are becoming a little bit more expensive. But there are measures, there are ways to bring more vegetables into the city. So nearby regions such as Shandong province and even in the northeastern China, they've been sending fresh vegetables and farm goods to the city to help ease the situation. Oh, it's very hot in the suits. Whew. So you can imagine how much work, how much stress a doctor has been through every day. They have to wear this all day. So some of them told me they don't even have time to go to the restroom because it takes a long time to take off the protective suit. And some of them would prefer to stay until their shift ends, because if you change the suit, it's gonna cost another, and that's something they can't afford right now because they're still in dire need for medical supplies. So the factories nearby are working extra time, extra hours, extra shifts to boost their production of medical supplies. Oh, that's a red light, right? Oh, we have to go through the red light. I'm sorry, guys, but in order to follow the story. Oh. Oh, I'm sweating. Let me ask my driver and to roll down the window for me. 我们能开下车？你开吗？ And they say yes, yes. All right, fresh air. It might be too loud for you guys to hear me, right? So after a minute, I'll close the window, roll it up. So we are a squad of 3, my driver and my cameraman and me, following the stories for you guys. Keep watching. Don't leave. Alright, let's... Alright. Still following the ambulances. It's 9:20, almost 9:20 in the morning. We arrived at the medical center, the emergency center, at about 7:40. And waited until the team dispatched to each local hospital. Actually, I was trying to do a story about medical personnel this afternoon, but I realized this is more important, so I followed it. This might be a long journey, but you know what? My cameraman is holding this camera pretty steady. Good for him. Way to go. Guys, we're almost there. Stay with us. Almost there. I'm sorry we had to go through this red light. Last year I was on a business trip to Wuhan, and that was during the Cherry Blossom Festival. The city was beautiful. But this time I came here, it kind of I feel a little bit sad right now. But I think we can pull this through if we stick together with the people in Wuhan. Because I work for CGTN's English channel, so that's why this must be done in English. But actually, I'm Chinese. If I speak Chinese, most of you won't understand. So I'm trying to reach more audiences as possible. That's why I'm doing this in English. A lot of traffic police, construction workers. Guys, if you have anything you want to ask, please let me know. It is a long drive. Sorry guys, I can't really see my phone right now, so I'm talking to my director, so she will let me know what you want to ask. Will do. I'll let the medical personnel know there are people watching their every effort they're doing here in the city, and the world is watching. Thank you guys for sticking with us, and please stay with us. Looks like we're about to arrive. As you can see, security is a lot tighter. I think there are security guards, right? All of them were wearing masks. So not only us, there are other people who are working in the city during the outbreak. All right, it says go right. I think they are working on everything they can do to improvise, to improve the hospital's facilities. But as you can see, this building is actually the hospital is built from scratch in 8 days. So there are a lot of things they're still working on. But I heard from my colleague that air ventilation is good to keep airs circulating, fresh air for the patients and for the medical personnel as well. So actually this is my first time to the hospital. I've been following other stories, so my colleague's been following this story, so it's my first time, so bear with me. For that, I'll verify for you guys later, because from my observation, not only those with critical conditions can be hospitalized. There are also other people with minor symptoms and conditions. So we have around 1,400 military personnel, medical staff, mostly are from medical teams across the nation. They're here to treat, receive the patient and treat them. Oh, we're still waiting. And this is my first time being at the Huoshenshan Hospital, so I need to find out more for you guys, as well as stay with us, don't leave. For those of you who have just joined us, we are on our way to Huoshenshan Hospital, a newly built makeshift hospital for patients infected with the coronavirus. We're in Wuhan, the epicenter of the outbreak, where it all began. As you can see, there are construction workers on the roof. So remember, the whole place was built from scratch, from nothing at all. There was a barren land, and now we have like several. Alright, maybe we should get out of the car and see what we have. Wow, pretty muddy. Okay, I think the traffic is stuck there, but I don't see any patients, but let's find out. I think they asked me to get back inside. Get back inside. I think the patients are leaving the ambulances. We want to get out. Give it another try, maybe. 我们要下去拍一下病人什么的。但是刚刚他让我进去。哎呀。啊？你还没穿呢，你拍。哦，对，你得穿上。人家穿防护服，咱才穿上外头。要穿一下吗？还是？哎。Okay, so far that's how far we can get from here, and my cameraman is not wearing a protective suit yet, so we can't not risk his life for this. And okay, as you can see, the ambulance is leaving. So that ambulance must have dropped off the patient. 那我们能不能稍微隔着远点拍的？能看到病人吗？都上后来不好走过去。里边不能拍到，里边看没有走信号。刚才在里边。我们他没穿防护服。他打那防护服没有用啊。 我们防护服可能不是特别的靠谱，然后这两天还没穿上嘛，因为让我们自己做。要不然我们在门口拍一个。 身上防护服没穿上，然后病情已经有点感染了。我们在外面拍的。等会儿呗。 不是好多救护车了吗？等会儿，这个没了。我们从右边拍，看能拍到哪边？这边。他走了一辆救护车，好几辆啊，早着呢。那我先走到那看能下来，然后旁边拍一段。你这会儿一下子应该走好远了吧？就这个意思。哦，拍不到了，这个。 中文记者也对啊，人家穿防护服的，咱啥也没有。人家那个是。门口拍的，然后断。Alright, we are going to try to step out of the car one more time and see if they happen. You can see the road is pretty muddy. I just stepped into a mud. We're making way for the ambulance. I think they have just dropped their second patient. 们再往前给这个不过来。So we're trying to get as close as possible. Don't know if the guy will let us in or not. Oh. All right, so all right, so apparently this is a highly contagious zone. We cannot get inside because of our protection suit is not good enough, and so from now we will just stand here and bring you any picture we can get. So this is highly contagious. Maybe we should step back a little bit. As you can see, we're still waiting for the ambulance to open its door and transfer the patient. And the road is so muddy, and apparently they put all their strength to build the prehab hospital. I mean, in just less than in 8 days, this is almost like a construction miracle. Look at that. All right, maybe we should talk to some personnel working here and try if we can get some response. 你好，现在是什么个情况啊？现在是and he says no comments. So apparently this guy is busy working. It might be a bad time for an interview, but as you can see, medical personnel are still waiting for the entrance to. Oh, actually, there's another ambulance coming out. Being sanitized, sterilized. I'm sorry, this is as far as we can get. So beyond that point, it's highly contagious, and they say we should probably stay back. And one more ambulance has entered the hospital. The staff says that's as far as we can go right now. So we're still waiting for the patients to be transferred into the hospital, and you can see the door has opened. But from this point, I don't know if you can see it clearly. But beyond that point, it's highly contagious, and we are not to get inside unless we have permission. And the ambulance in front of us is waiting in a queue in line to drop off the patient to the hospital. And as you can see in the picture, the hospital is pretty new. It's a makeshift hospital, but it's going to provide about 1,000 beds to receive patients infected with the coronavirus. So you can see people in uniforms. They are from the military. 1,400 military medical personnel have been dispatched to Wuhan, to this very hospital, to receive and treat patients. Many of them had fought the SARS virus, the Ebola, so they're quite experienced in dealing with epidemics like this. Also, you can see construction workers. So the building, there's still a lot of things to be done for this prefab hospital. So you can see a lot of construction workers in yellow helmets. Another ambulance is about to leave. It just dropped off another patient to the Huoshenshan Hospital. And once again being sanitized and sterilized. We medical personnel are very concerned about the outbreak and anything that can spread the virus. All right. I think that's all the ambulance we have. The last one is still waiting in line, and after that we might have to leave this place because we cannot go beyond the checkpoint. Once again, this is a highly contagious zone. I'm sorry, we'll have to stay a little bit further due to our equipment situation. I don't know if you can see it, but the ambulance inside is transferring a patient. I think he's or she's in. I can't see it clearly, but someone actually pushed a wheelchair. Alright, we are waiting for the last ambulance from the Huoshenshan Hospital to get into the hospital of Huoshenshan to transfer one last patient. And this is just one of the ambulance teams across the city, so there are more. I was planning to find out more about the hospital and the patients, but apparently we don't have access. And this is totally understandable because everything is running so tight and the situation is quite serious. We don't want to interrupt these people and their hard work. As you can see, all the personnel here are in protective suits, goggles, and masks. All right. Another ambulance has transferred its patient. It's having a shower of sanitation and sterilization so it can come back to Wuhan's other districts with lower risks of infecting people. One last ambulance into the hospital. Again, these ambulances are from Wuhan's emergency center. Departed this morning, just less than 2 hours ago. It's a long drive from downtown Wuhan to the Huoshenshan Hospital, and it's also my first time here. So hopefully next time I can do my homework and bring you guys a little more details on the hospital. I'm sorry, but it's been a busy week for all of us. So that's the last ambulance from Huoshenshan Hospital. I apologize if we can't get a clear shot of the building of the ambulance, but that's as far as we can get. But please stay with us. And we're about to leave the hospital as well. As you can see, the outside of the hospital is pretty raw and actually primitive a little. But you must understand, this place was built in 8 days. It's a mission impossible. But once again, China has demonstrated its strength in infrastructure building. Construction workers work overtime, extra hours, to finish the hospital in just 8 days. This hospital is expected to receive like 1,000 patients because it has 1,000 beds, so 1,000 patients can live here. But there's another building. As you can see, the medical workers have pushed out a wheelchair. I don't know if you can see it right. All of them are full equipment. Full equipment. We need to get sanitized later and take a shower from head to toe. Alright, that's the last ambulance getting sprayed. Sanitation fluid and disinfectant. It's being done pretty thoroughly. Alright, after the shower, the the ambulance may leave this area, highly contagious area. And that's all we have for today. Thank you for watching. Please stay tuned. We will have more on this channel later. Thank you. Bye for now.